Hello everybody, Asa here. Welcome back to my channel. Hope everybody's good. If you're new here, I'm really happy that you're here. We're going to do a video today on one of my scrapbooks, maybe more. I've been doing a few scrapbook videos recently, and I just found that I haven't been really presenting them in a way that does them any type of justice. I'm still relatively new here, guys, so I'm sort of experimenting and finding my way around in terms of how to present things. So, with that said, we'll get into this scrapbook today. So, this one is from sort of the late 80s, early 90s. Nice shot there of Michael on the Bad World Tour, singing Rock With You, I would imagine. And so, a lot of the stuff in these scrapbooks is obviously from media from the 80s and 90s. So, the language used in those sort of reflect the way Michael was referred to back then. And it's unfortunate. But it is what it is, guys. That's the way he was referred to, and I mean, they're still sort of taunting him now in this day and age as well. So there's no way around it really. So I hope you're not too offended. Um, it's we're sort of having a look here through archival media stuff, and this was the way Michael was sort of spoken about. And if you're a relatively new fan and you're a younger fan, I suppose that's quite shocking, but I mean, it's no surprise really when you consider that this has been going on really, I guess, since sort of Michael blew up with Thriller and sort of has continued through his entire career. And yeah, so it is what it is, guys. So yeah, so the first piece we have here is an article that came from the Mirror in March of 1990, and it's By a Slice of Wacko Jacko. And this really, I guess, is about Michael Jackson apparently wanting fans to invest in him through the stock exchange. And I mean, I don't know how much truth there is to any of that. And there's a lot of stuff as well that's just complete speculation, and it was just sort of printed as factual, but it is what it is. So we have a flyer here from Tesco, and it's Win Pepsi merch or Dangerous Tour merchandise. So that was sort of, I guess, as a sort of a precursor to Michael coming to the UK on his Dangerous tour. What else do we have here? Fit to be a Thriller, Jackson's Secret by Jermaine. So this was another sort of thing that went on back then. Was you'd have Michael's siblings and family members um, selling stories, and I mean, I suppose a lot of it is sort of he said, she said type of speculative stuff. But just quite interesting, wonderful picture here of Michael with Sophia Loren on that. I think it was some sort of gala dinner event they went to, and Michael looking absolutely iconic there. So it's a mixture of those type of brilliant images of MJ with sort of the tabloid type of father of the day, I suppose, haunted by an evil stalker. So you have a piece here about stalkers involving various celebrities. We've got Cher up here. We've got this is Gloria Hunningford. She does a lot of daytime TV in the UK now. She's on a show called Loose Women. It's the equivalent to The View in America. That sort of daytime TV, sort of gossip, chit chat type of show. I think this is Kim Wilde here, and yeah, it's Kim Wilde. So Kim Wilde supported Michael on the European leg of his '88 Bad World Tour. So Kim Wilde's quite a good pop artist, I guess. Obviously, she wouldn't have been anywhere near Michael's level, but she was pretty big in the UK at the time. Had a few sort of minor hits, one or two maybe bigger hits, but yeah, it's just nice there to see some of those images from back then. High cost of the pops. So yeah, so this is just, I guess, various articles on um, sort of yeah, various sort of bits and pieces, I suppose. New kids make 18 million on videos. I'm guessing there's a bit in here. Yeah, we do have a bit. And the live version on sale in April has outsold Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. So the New Kids released the live concert VHS, I'm imagining. and they raked in more than Michael at this point. But this is in 1990. This is between eras for Michael, and when Michael came back with his Dangerous era, that was absolutely massive, as was the Bad era. But I mean, in 1990, the Bad album had been and gone. All of the singles had been released. Michael had toured from 87 through 88 into the beginning of 89. There was a huge singles campaign, and yeah. So there's a beautiful shot of Michael with outstretched arms performing at the end of a performance of Man in the Mirror, no doubt. Really nice. Really nice. And that's the hits from the hits quiz book. So this, I'm guessing, is from the same quiz book because it's sort of Michael Jackson trivia, I guess you would say. So we have a crossword here, and the crossword here is actually quite fun, I suppose. The top one is good album, um, good album, bad, which is quite good. A pet animal, and that's a llama. And yeah, a song about a rat, Ben. Quite straightforward, quite easy, but um, quite a fun crossword to do if you're a fan, I suppose. So that's that. So obviously Janet Jackson then in 80, I think her Control album, was it in 80, 87, 88? I can't remember the actual year. Control, maybe it was 80, 86. I can't remember. I actually can't remember when the Control album was released. But Janet was sort of on the cusp of big things in the late 80s. She was big. She blew up with her Control album, obviously. And then her follow up album, Rhythm Nation 1814, was absolutely massive. And as I've said before, that Janet sort of filled gaps, era gaps as well, while Michael was away. And she was always being pitted against Michael, obviously, for obvious reasons. And I mean, there's a great marketing thing behind that as well. The whole idea that, you're sort of, pitted against Michael Jackson, or Michael Jackson is spoken about in, or you're spoken about sort of in the same breath as Michael Jackson. So we have a nice, we have a nice piece here on LaToya. This looks like it's from Hello magazine, and it's exclusive. LaToya, the stunning singer, shows off her luxury penthouse in London. Um, I mean, I'm not sure how legitimate that London penthouse was. She was in a very turbulent marriage, obviously, LaToya. And I mean, I look back now at a lot of LaToya Jackson's press with, in a different sort of way. um, LaToya was forced into doing a lot of stuff that she sort of regrets and says she didn't want to do. I mean, she looked great. Obviously, her image is loosely sort of based on Michael and a bit of Janet as well. But I mean, that's sort of part of the image of the day anyway. Sort of 80s, early 90s kind of uh, glam. Um, lots of jewelry and yeah, I'm lost for words. Lost for words. We have a nice shot here of LaToya actually with a parrot on her knee. So yeah, so there you go. Actually, there's a shot of LaToya playing chess, pretending to play chess with her husband, and her husband's name was Jack Gordon, and Jack Gordon was an absolute monster of a man, absolute monster of a human being. He beat LaToya regularly, and he was very coercive in his personality and things he sort of forced LaToya into and to do to make money. And he used a lot of sort of blackmail as well as a tactic to sort of frighten her into doing things that she wasn't really comfortable doing, but she did just out of fear. So yeah, LaToya was quite naive as a person and quite soft and quite timid, so could be easily sort of manipulated and bullied. So I've skipped a page here, and we have one Mr. Wade Robson here, wearing Michael's Motown 25 shirt and one of Michael's fedoras. No kidding, Wade 7 is just wacko about Jacko. Um, and it's, yeah, I mean, that's interesting in the way that's gone. And of course, all of this sort of past history in the press now, how Wade was such a massive defender of Michael and a such a sort of champion and fan of Michael, and how, you know, how basically he pursued Michael, him and his mom. But that's all sort of brushed aside now, and the narrative is what the narrative is. There's Jermaine in the gym working out. Jermaine this time would have been sort of off the back of the 2300 Jackson Street album, which is pretty much a Jermaine album. I think I've mentioned that before. Good album, actually. There's some really good tracks on the 2300 Jackson Street album. Michael isn't in it, obviously. He does make a cameo on the 2300 Jackson Street song, but it's front loaded with some good tracks. Actually, there's three or four really strong tracks on that album, and I quite like it. I quite like it. There's a piece here with Michael and Diana Ross, star couple, a young singer's obsession with a star 14 years her senior. So that was the angle on this piece, that with a star 14 years his senior. So this sort of buys into the narrative that Michael was sort of obsessed with Diana Ross, and there was all that thing in the media as well that he was sort of basing his image on Diana Ross, and I don't really buy into that really. But some nice images here of Michael from around '89 from the American Music Awards, looking really charismatic and iconic, and yeah, he just looked great here, and I would like to think that this was quite a happy sort of time in Michael's life. He had accomplished such an awful lot by this point, having completed his Bad World tour, and you know, sort of reaching the heights he did with the Bad era, and I mean the Thriller era as well. But I think the Bad era just sort of really capped it off nicely. So there you go, and just various images of him there. There's one with Elizabeth Taylor. There's two with Elizabeth Taylor, the same image. One with his mum there. So that's an image of Michael at his mother's birthday party from the mid '80s, and he sang a song for her at her birthday. I can't remember what the song was. It may have been something like Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It was along those type of lines, I believe. Can't remember off the top of my head. So nice image. This was from a Pepsi event. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Michael was donating some money to something and receiving an award for something as well. I guess there's a little piece here. Did you know, a little bit on Moonwalker? Did you know that you can now buy Michael Jackson chocolate? It's available in Switzerland at about 65p per bar. So I think the price of chocolate has gone up recently, and the price of cocoa actually has gone through the roof. And they're changing the ingredients now. I think the chocolate bars, and they're adding I don't know if it's palm oil or something in place of chocolate, so it's getting less chocolate and more additives. Another shot there of Michael, but that's completely irrelevant to this. Obviously, I remember this actually. This was from the shoot from 2300 Jackson Street where they shot the video. Um, LaToya wasn't in that video. Neither was, I think, Marlon. Marlon was off doing his solo career, and LaToya was in London, as we see here earlier in this. But there's some really great shots there of Michael and his nieces and nephews and his brothers and sisters, and his nice shot there with Michael and Joe, Joe Jackson, and he's playing snooker there at the bottom, or pool, and or he's like, they're pretending to for the sake of the photo, I guess. They're sort of having some fun, family affair. So yeah, I remember watching a piece about the making of this video as well, and I think it was Entertainment Tonight at the time, and a lot of these shots sort of featured in that piece. So that's quite nice, I guess. The man who sold Michael Jackson for $250,000. So this is an artist, and they were calling him the new Andy Warhol at the time, I think. A vacuum cleaner packed in plastic, or a porcelain statue of Michael Jackson. Jeff Koons, America's new Warhol, seems to have turned everything but a kitsch sink to gold. Um, so there you go. I think many people would be aware of that statue. And then there's some more pieces here on Janet on her control tour. This possibly this looks like the Rhythm Nation tour actually. So yeah, Janet got really physically fit, and there was a huge change in her appearance from Control to Rhythm Nation. She'd lost a lot of weight, and I guess she slightly sort of changed up her image, I suppose, to maybe a sleeker version. So we've got advertisement here for Moonwalker on VHS, home video. Janet lashes out at Jacko's new love. So the piece here is claiming that Michael Jackson's new love interest is Paula Abdul. And of course, Paula Abdul was a choreographer, dancer who appeared in a few Janet Jackson videos at the time, and she toured with Janet as one of her dancers. And then she was given the opportunity to have her own solo career. I remember her song Straight Up, which I was quite a fan of actually at the time. Loved the video, loved the choreo. Well, not choreography, but just the dancing. There was, yeah, there's a sort of a section in the middle of that music video where she does this sort of cool tap dance, and I just really like the whole style of that. Um, and then she had another one with a cartoon, a cartoon dog or wolf or something. What was it? Two steps forward, two steps back, or something like that, which was quite a good song, I suppose. Catchy enough. So media today. Um, what are we looking at here? What are we looking at here? Video, media today, video view to a killing moonwalker. I don't really know what that is, but I guess it's just sort of about maybe what VHSs are doing, and Moonwalker and Tim Burton's Batman, I suppose, would have been released. This would have been 1989. So quite good. So we have a piece here actually about the Sammy Davis tribute show, which was actually shot by a guy called Jeff Margolis. Is that how I pronounce his name? I'm not 100% certain, but Jeff Margolis knew Michael since his Jackson 5 days, and Michael really liked Jeff, and they had a really good sort of working relationship. Really respected each other, and I would imagine that was a big part of Michael appearing in the Sammy Davis tribute show. I mean, as well as obviously Michael being a huge fan and admirer of Sammy Davis. And this was a wonderful special. This was a wonderful TV special. And all the biggest celebrities of the day were in that, all the biggest artists. Obviously, at the front there, you have Michael and Sammy Davis. You've got Frank Sinatra here. You've got Stevie Wonder. Is that Whitney? I think you've got Whitney up here. You've got, yeah, you've got loads of people. You've got, here's Mike Tyson here. Yeah, you've got Richard Pryor. So there's quite a few people in this shot now that are no longer here. But I watched that live. Well, I don't know if it was live, but it was certainly around 1989. I would have seen it in Ireland on the TV. And I remember when it came on at the beginning, there was like a sort of an introductory piece of who would be appearing. And obviously, when Michael was shown, I just watched the entire thing waiting for Michael, and Michael didn't disappoint. His rendition of "What You Were There" was just stunning, absolutely stunning. His performance on that show. So yeah, LaToya is out selling out to the Japs. So yeah, so language was used in back in these days very sort of loosely, and in this day and age, I suppose a lot of the language used in these articles sort of wouldn't be accepted anymore. We've come a long way, I suppose, in terms of how we sort of refer to people, and but I suppose with Michael, they're still sort of saying whatever they want. There's a nice little advertisement there for Janet Jackson's Escapade, which is quite nice. She's looking quite young in that shot, actually. And we've got just some more stuff here on Janet. We've got Peter Stringfellow here with LaToya Jackson in London. So Peter Stringfellow had a club in London, and quite a character, Peter Stringfellow. He died, I think he died about maybe 5 6 years ago, actually. Quite a character, quite controversial, and a bit of a TV sort of celebrity. So we've got some really nice ads here for the Moonwalker home video. And gosh, I was so excited when this was released, actually. Absolutely over the moon, pun not intended, over the Moonwalker to get a copy of this and to watch it. And I did see it. I did see it originally in the movie theater. It was in a movie theater in Cork for like a limited time, and seeing Michael perform "Man in the Mirror" in Antrim and in Madison Square Garden was incredible. And obviously, I mean, just seeing it in the movie theater, the entire movie was just magical, absolutely magical. So then we've got just various sort of bits of promotion here about Moonwalker, and of course the storybook as well, which I received maybe for Christmas of '89 or whenever that was released, and I absolutely loved that. And there was a few images in that of Michael performing on stage that I just would sort of endlessly stare at in absolute awe, because it was just so magical at this time. There's Michael here, the Running Man, Schwarzenegger, and there's some sort of various movies along here. Daryl Hannah in Splash, Crocodile Dundee, and just yeah, some really, really wonderful memories actually. Some really wonderful memories. A Supreme Sight. Who is that? That's Diana Ross. So there's quite a lot of Diana Ross as well in a few of these books. Diana the Supreme Josephine. So not directly, I suppose, related to Michael, but I certainly wouldn't be surprised if Michael is mentioned in any of these articles. I mean, his name will be in there somewhere, I suppose. And we've got more Janet stuff here. One Nation Under a Groove. And I mean, her Rhythm Nation era was really good. I remember like seeing the Rhythm Nation music video and Black Cat. I absolutely loved Black Cat, and I guess a lot of it was comparable to Michael's stuff. Black Cat sort of being, I suppose, her version of Beat It, maybe, if that's sort of comparable. Meet the not so wacko Miss Jacko. My God, they just sort of relate everything back to Michael. It all comes back to Michael in the end, doesn't it? That's one of the sort of repetitive themes. And of course, we've got to have a picture of Michael up here in the corner as well. There was a point when I cried for Michael. So, oh, and so we have Michael here in, is it 1990, meeting President George Bush Sr. at the White House. And that's quite another iconic look for Michael there. So yeah, he wore a lot of red and blacks at this time. I think that sort of worked quite well, and yeah, looked really sort of iconic in those outfits. Actually, looking at it, is that the same outfit he wore to the Sophie Loren dinner? Is that the same jacket? Possibly is. Is Michael's hair was different styled differently, but yeah, looks cool. Looks cool. So Donald Trump opened a casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And I want to say again, this is around 1990. Is it what we call the Taj Mahal Casino? So Michael was invited to the grand opening, and obviously having Michael's endorsement and having Michael Jackson show up at the opening to your casino is, it's pretty much the biggest flex anybody, you could get. So Michael looks incredible around this time as well, and yeah, there was an association there with Donald Trump. I believe Michael also stayed in Trump Towers in New York when he was recording the History album. But this was long before Trump would have even been thought of as being a president. America's Conscience. So this is when Ryan White died, and Michael attended Ryan White's funeral, and Elton John also attended. His awe-inspiring courage touched all our lives, and that was really sad. Michael was quite close with Ryan White, and Ryan White appeared on the cover of the Gone Too Soon single cover, and the song was dedicated to Ryan White. And Ryan White appeared in the video, and there's other footage of Michael hanging out with Ryan White on YouTube as well, which is quite cool, and it's pretty much just both of them sitting down, just talking, just talking about music and just all sorts of stuff. So really quite sad images here of young Ryan White in his casket with his mom and Elton John up here. Um, and Michael was a huge comfort to Ryan White's mom at this time because he visited her home with, I believe he visited with Donald Trump. That footage is also available on YouTube, and really touching, really touching. And Elton played a song at the funeral, and that sort of became a thing for Elton John because obviously Elton John sang at Princess Diana's funeral, and that version of uh, what was the song, Candle in the Wind. He changed the lyrics to Goodbye England's Rose, and that became like the biggest selling single, certainly in the UK. I don't know if it's the biggest selling single in the world, but I mean, it's certainly up there. Elton's song for Ryan, the boy who thought the world courage. Stars Mourn boy who said AIDS is a disease, not a dirty word. There was such a stigma back then, um, such a stigma, and I mean, really, like 1990 wasn't a very long time ago. It wasn't a very long time ago, but just more from the funeral. There's Michael and Ryan's mum, and quite sad, quite sad. But that was, that was quite big coverage, that funeral at the time. And then there's like various bits. Jacko's golden oldies, love, mum's the word, says Star. Jermaine's germs hold tour. Jackson trip for dying, John 14. And just various little bits there. Various little bits there. And oh, so we have a piece here on an MTV. So this is the month ahead for the month of, what month is it? It's the month of April for MTV, and this is their sort of schedule for the month. And on Saturday, the 21st of April, they have like a Michael Jackson day, and that was a huge thing back then. These Michael Jackson weekends that would be on MTV, and you would have like just entire days and entire weekends dedicated to Michael Jackson. So so that's quite cool, I suppose. That's quite cool. And Janet Jackson is having a special on Tuesday the 24th. So Paul's Fury with Yoko over songs. So this no doubt recalls the ATV catalogue, which Michael bought, including the Beatles songs, but those songs were offered to Paul McCartney first. Paul McCartney says he discussed it with Yoko, he discussed it with George Harrison, but they sort of couldn't agree on the money and felt that the catalogue was too expensive. And then, of course, when Michael bought the catalogue, Paul McCartney wasn't very happy and fell out with Michael. But the irony there is that Paul McCartney had bought, X amount of back catalogs for many other artists, and he was the one who actually advised Michael in the 80s to get into music publishing and catalog buying. So it's yeah, it's a little bit hypocritical there. I thought from Paul McCartney, but yeah, it is what it is. And then I would imagine there would be a lot of Beatles fans in the music industry who would have probably resented Michael for doing that as well. Um, and yeah, I mean, it was massive when Michael bought that, and it elevated his currency and his worth in the music market, and his wealth, and it was like just such an asset to have, and it was an incredibly massive power play on Michael's behalf, and just incredible, really, that Michael had sort of come from a boy band, the Jackson Five, and just turned into this absolute megastar. But I mean, at the same time, the talent is obvious. You watch any of those early Jackson Five performances, and it's obvious that this guy is special. He's a complete one off and a genius and a child prodigy. And that is that. Okay, guys, so I'll leave it there for this video. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And this is perhaps the format now. I will continue doing these scrapbooks. Perhaps it's a little bit better, and it gives the viewer a much better sort of idea of the scrapbook and the contents. And yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, I'd really appreciate a subscribe or a thumbs up. I'm still relatively new here to YouTube, navigating my way around, trying to find my sort of place in this fandom on YouTube, and um, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really enjoying the feedback. And although I'm a really tiny channel, yeah, hopefully we can sort of grow as a channel moving forward. And I look forward to making more videos. So I'll catch you guys in my next one, and thank you for watching.